Hello everybody, this lesson is for adding and subtracting rational expressions, part 1. So if you remember for fractions, when you have fractions, in order to add or subtract the fractions, you have to have a common denominator. And it helps to have the lowest common denominator. So with two rational expressions, now we've got variables included. But you look at the coefficients of the two terms and the variables. You want the denominators to match, be the exact same. So between 5x squared and 15x to the 6th, the lowest common denominator for this one is actually going to be 15x to the 6th. And so we actually want to multiply by the term that's going to rewrite this first fraction so that it matches 15x to the 6th. So 5 to 15, if I were to multiply both the top and the bottom of this fraction by a 3 times 5 to get 15, and then x squared to x to the 6th, I would need to multiply by x to the 4th. So remembering for exponents, variables with exponents, if the base is the same, you add the exponents when you multiply. So x to the 4th times x squared, 4 plus 2 is how you get 6. So now we can rewrite these two fractions. 3x to the 4th times 12 would give us 36x to the 4th. And then 3 times 5, we've got our 15x to the 4th times x squared. We've got our x to the 6th. And we're adding that with 1 over 15x to the 6th. Now that our denominator is the same, you can just rewrite this as one big fraction. So 36x to the 4th plus 1 over 15x to the 6th. And this would be that answer. Looking at a bit more complex of a problem, before you identify your common denominator, make sure your other denominator is factored. So we would leave this one as 2 over x plus 2. But this other denominator has a trinomial. We can factor that out. So our numerator, we've got x plus 4. In our denominator, that would factor to x plus 2, x plus 1, because 2 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So now we can clearly see what our denominator would have to be. This denominator has two binomials. They both share this x plus 2, so we're actually just multiplying this first fraction by this x plus 1. So we'd have to multiply the denominator by x plus 1 and that numerator by x plus 1. So our new numerator, remember, since we're multiplying 2 times both of those, we actually have to use our distributive property. So 2 times x gets us 2x. 2 times 1, we've got plus 2, over our x plus 1, x plus 2. And then adding with this fraction, we've got x plus 4 over x plus 1, x plus 2. Now that our denominator is the same, we can actually write this all as one big numerator. So 2x plus 2 plus x plus 4 over our common denominator. And then simplify, so combine like terms. 2x plus x is 3x. 2 plus 4 is 6 over x plus 1, x plus 2. And we always want to make sure we've got a simplified fraction, that our denominator and our numerator, we've simplified it completely. So once you think you have your answer, just double check if we can simplify it further. This 3x plus 6 we can actually reduce or factor by dividing out a 3. So we end up with x plus 3 times x plus 2. And then x plus 1 over x plus 2. Now we can simplify because x plus 2 matches with x plus 2 in our denominator, giving us a most simplified answer of 3 over x plus 1. So there's our reduced answer. So once you've got your common denominator, you want to rewrite that other fraction so that the denominator matches. Remember to use your distributive property. I'm multiplying through. Once you've got your common denominator, you can rewrite it as one fraction. So we combined like terms, but your last step, make sure you simplify. So factor out anything that's in common and then simplify. The same process works with subtraction. So you want to have a common denominator. So between 4a and 9a to the 5th, the common denominator would be 36a to the 5th. So we would be rewriting this fraction by multiplying by 9a to the 4th on the numerator and denominator. So our new numerator, 9a to the 4th times 1. We've got 9a to the 4th minus, this one we have to multiply by 4. So times 4 and times 4, so that equals 36. 7 times 4, we've got 28. Once we've got our common denominator, you can write it all together. So 9a to the 4th minus 28 over 36a to the 5th. And there's our answer for that one. One more example just to look at a more complex where you have to factor a bit further. So we've still got subtraction. You want to factor this denominator to two binomials so you can clearly see what's all contained in that denominator. So 4 over x plus 4 minus, we've got our x plus 8, and then their denominator would factor to x plus 5, x plus 4. So our common denominator is this x plus 5, x plus 4. So we want to multiply our numerator and denominator of this other fraction by x plus 5. So again, use your distributive property. 4x, or 4 times x is 4x. So 4 times x, we get 4x. 4 times 5 is 20. Over x plus 5, x plus 4. Subtracting our x plus 8 over our common denominator. Let me move all this up. So simplifying now, combining our numerators together. The only thing now with subtraction, since this is subtracting, we need to subtract everything in our numerator. So we've got our 4x plus 20, but we're subtracting x, so minus x, but we're also subtracting 8, so minus 8. Make sure you subtract both terms in that numerator. Rewriting our denominator all combined together. And now we can simplify the numerator by combining like terms. So 4x minus x, we've got 3x. 20 minus 8, so minus 12, over x plus 5, x plus 4. And again, make sure it's simplified. I can divide out a 3 to end up with x plus 4 over our common denominator. And now you can see that the x plus 4's cancel out. So x plus 4 cancels off with x plus 4, giving us an answer of 3 over x plus 5. So make sure, again, find your common denominator. Use your distributive property if you're multiplying by that binomial. Use your distributive property on the top. And for subtraction, this is different. Make sure you subtract each term in your numerator so that way when you combine like terms, everything that was supposed to be subtracted was subtracted. And again, as your last step, make sure you've simplified completely, factor out anything in common, and simplify so that your answer is in lowest terms.